Hello, my warriors. Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Shreyas, your physics master teacher at Vedantu, going live from Bangalore. Let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear, if you guys can see me. Let me know in the chat box by putting up a yo, by putting up a heart, by putting up a smiley out there so that I know you guys are listening to me loud and clear. Hi Sai Telugu, hello Shwetayas. Hi Kira, hello Kalyani, nice to see all of you. Hello Little Techie, interesting what names you guys come up with. Hi Sneha, hi Fatima, hi Rohit, hello, welcome Villain Joker Gaming with all the hearts out there. Thank you very much for joining in everyone. So today is a very special session guys, because see, on every Saturday, I come up with these amazing sessions for all of you, which are very informative in nature. And a lot of you have doubts on what exactly this architecture branch is. A lot of you have some myths which need to be busted. So we are going to get our experts out here who are going to tell you what exactly is the scope, what exactly should you look forward to, what are the course details, and everything that you need to know right from admission to your job or probably even starting your own company. So let's get started. And I hope everybody knows about me, but all those new timers out there, well, I'm Shreyas. I'm the anchor for physics on this channel, and I not only teach on YouTube, but I also teach on the regular paid platform of Vedantu. I have over a decade of experience in teaching, and many of my students have got amazing ranks, and even some of them have got 2-digit All India ranks, and many of them have even graduated from IITs, NITs, BITS, and any other prestigious college that you can think of. So if you want to know more about me, you can definitely contact me on my Instagram handle, that's Shreyas_Vedantu. Welcome everyone out here, and guys, if you guys are excited, please put up a yo in the chat box, because remember, the only way I get my enthu, I get my energy is through your energy, through your love. And if you have forgotten to smash that like button out there, please go ahead and do that. And all the new timers, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, because you can get your daily dose of updates, and YouTube will recommend you videos only based on whether you have subscribed and liked our videos. So go ahead, do that. It's for free of cost. Welcome aboard everyone. Hello Akshita, hello Muskan, hi Science Via, nice to see all of you. Well, nice to see all the fire and the heart out there. Now before I go ahead, there is a very interesting and important announcement. Some of you might know this, those of you who have been following our community. Guys, the crash course for all the JEE 2021 aspirants, which has 11th and 12th standard syllabus revision, which has 20 amazing mock tests with discussions, with doubt solving, with amazing master teachers like me. All of this was for 10,000 rupees, right? And we used to give you the discount for 40%. But now you're going to get 45% off. That means the course is going to be just at, 5,500 rupees if you use the coupon code SHCC. How do you join the crash course? It's very simple. Just go to the description box below. There's a link for joining the crash course. Go ahead, click that link, use the coupon code. You can check out all the details. And guys, this is a limited time offer. So you can see it's 45% off. Usually it used to be 40%. So go ahead, grab this deal right now. All right. Now, let me tell you something about all the colleges, the admission process, etc. And then we are going to call the guest of honor on the screen as well. So first, let me tell you all the top-notch colleges which are there for architecture. And well, there are only 2 IITs which offer architecture branch or B-Arch. One is IIT Kharagpur, second one is IIT Roorkee. Both are obviously excellent colleges, no matter which branch you take. Obviously, you get the tag of an IITian. Other schools include like, NIT Calicut. Among the NITs, you have the SPA, which is the School of Planning and Architecture from New Delhi, and you have the Chandigarh University. All these are the top-notch colleges for architecture. In fact, you also have, SPA from Bhopal. NIT Trichy is also very good. So all those of you are planning to get into NITs or IITs, guys, these are the NITs, IITs which are really good. You've got BIT Mestra, you've got the Mumbai College, yes, JJ College of Architecture, and then you also have CEPT. This is very, very good college, and in fact, our guest from for today is from CEPT Ahmedabad. It's got variety of creative courses which you might not have even heard of, and it's really good. These are the top-notch colleges which you should be looking for. Obviously, there are many more private and government colleges, but these are the top-notch institutes. Now, you might be wondering how the admission happens to all these colleges and what are the requirements. Well, the requirements are pretty much basic out there. So, the first thing is like having 50%, in your board examinations, which I'm pretty sure most of you will get. And the criteria is physics, chemistry, maths, and English should be your subjects. Earlier, it used to be just maths and English, but now even physics and chemistry is included. Now, you might be wondering why physics and chemistry is required. Is mathematics required for architecture? Well, all these questions actually have been planned in the session, so don't worry about it. And even diploma holders can definitely apply for, architecture in different private and government colleges. Now, the different entrance examination. Well, yes, Rishabh, there are many more NITs which have architecture branch, but I told you all the top NITs and top colleges out there. Yes. So the BTech fees for most of these colleges, be it IIT or NIT, ranges somewhere between 1,40,000 to 2 lakh rupees per year. So that's the average cost per course per year. You can think of it that way. Now, Nata is the National Aptitude Test in Architecture. This is a general entrance test for most of the architecture colleges or for BR courses. But if you want to get into NIT, IIT and this genre of colleges, then you have to give JEE Mains and JEE Advanced. Now in JEE Mains, there is something called as paper 2. Yeah, when you register, you get an option for registering for paper 1 or paper 2. So you have to register for paper 2. Only then you are eligible to take part in the counseling round for the BR courses. Remember that. And same thing, only when you clear JEE Mains, obviously then you can get into JEE Advanced. And if you want to get into IIT Kharagpur or IIT Roorkee, which has BR courses, then you need to give another round of entrance, and that is AAT. Only when you clear these exams, only then you get a seat in IIT or NIT. Keep this in mind. So it's quite a process, but trust me, these additional exams, this paper 2 or AAT, they are quite tricky. I mean, it has, questions based on general aptitude, lateral thinking, some bit of 3D knowledge is also required. So if you're good at visualization, if you're good at solving puzzles and all those kind of aptitude based questions, trust me on this, you will fare well. Okay, so you can look at the previous year questions, you can just look at the general aptitude questions, you can look at the graphic or 3D based questions available freely on the internet. Trust me, that much is enough. So you need decent amount of preparation. You can't just go like a hero to the examination hall and expect that you clear these exams. Okay, so that's what it is. And you also have private entrances for other colleges like Kalinga University has its own separate entrance, Aligarh Muslim University also has its own separate entrance, and BS Abdur Rahman University also has its own separate entrance. Usually these 3 exams are most preferred because these entrance examinations get you the admission in the top notch and most of the colleges in our country. All right. Yes, you can definitely join the preparation from right now, PBSN, definitely. All right. Now, having said this, let me also show you the cutoffs. Look at this. These are the ranks, JEE rank. So a lot of you might be thinking, sir, if I get 10,000 rank, can I still get an IIT degree? Definitely you can get. Look at this. IIT Kharagpur had a cutoff of 10,310. This is all the previous years. Roorkee had 17,000 roughly. And all the other NITs and, BIT, Mestra and all that for the JEE Mains. But by the way, these ranks are for paper 2. Please keep this in mind. This is not your paper 1 rank. This is the separate rank that you get out here. And for CEPT, you had a cutoff of 140 marks in Nata exam. So this gives you a very clear-cut picture of can you get or should you apply for BR courses? Where do you stand? And please remember, these ranks for NITs, for JEE Mains or any JEE Mains based ranks are for paper 2, not the generic rank which you get in paper 1. All right. So yes, Tarun, I do remember you. Don't worry. Okay. Percentiles are not so important, Science Priya. I feel these ranks are more important because the percentile varies depending on how many students are appearing for the examination. So more than percentile, look for the rank, because that gives you a clear-cut picture. So the general rule of thumb is, in JEE Mains you should have well below 1000 rank. That's what it is. And for JEE Advanced, even 10,000 below rank is fine, because they don't have a separate paper for architecture. Once you clear JEE Advanced, only then, if you are eligible for the counseling, only then you have to give the separate entrance for BArch programs. So having said this, now that you have a decent picture, there are more things which probably even I don't have answers to. So that's why we have got, yes, architect Ramalakshmi out here. She has won and she has written so many books. She has won so many awards. Like you can see, I mean, this slide was just not enough, guys. She graduated from NIT Nagpur. She was a gold medalist there. And then she did her MArch from CEPT Ahmedabad. There also she was a gold medalist. She got the Purnima Prize from NIT Nagpur. She got the Gates Scholarship for postgraduate studies. She is a research fellow for the project she did on Hampi. She has co-authored the book Essays in Architectural Theory and Design back in 2013, and currently she is contributing in Pursuit of Design for the book Learning Architecture. And she is also the founder of Samvad Design Studio, which was founded in 2015, which is doing amazingly well. So guys, I want all hearts in the chat box to welcome architect Ramalakshmi out here on the screen. Come on, my warriors, do that. I'm going to call up Ramalakshmi on the screen right away. There we go. Hi Ramalakshmi, welcome, welcome, welcome aboard.
Hi Shreyas, delighted to be with you. Yeah, so I was, just to repeat myself, I was saying it's such an interdisciplinary practice that I often joke, you have to be jack of all trades, master of none. But if you complete the saying, it's jack of all trades, master of none, oftentimes better than master of one.
That's a good one, actually. And guys, I'm pretty sure you want to be the master of architect out here. So, well, I have some amazing questions planned for you. And some of these questions are such that, most of these students keep asking me quite often. So I thought, why not collect these questions so we can have these frequently asked questions for you, and then we can open up the stage for generic doubts. So are you okay for taking up all the queries? Because these questions are very important. They are going to probably make or break the future of all our students out here.
Absolutely.
So let's get started, guys. So are you guys ready? Let me know, my warriors, by putting up a yo in the chat box. I hope you guys can hear me, because every time I conduct these interviews, I always have that doubt in my mind whether the audience can actually hear me, because yeah. All right, so Science Priya says yes. All right, so one of the first questions that I have is, like medical requires some kind of aptitude, then you have engineering which requires some bit of basic understanding of problem solving skills, etc. So what kind of skills, what kind of aptitude do you think is very important for any student who plans to take up architecture in the near future?
Yes, my answer would be twofold. One is, while we are in school, we are taught to study in silos as maths, physics, chemistry. This kind of compartmentalized thinking doesn't help in architecture, because, as I mentioned earlier, it's a high synthesis of all subjects put together. So you need a very interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary approach towards architecture. My second steep learning curve was having a three-dimensional ability to think, three-dimensional geometry, three-dimensional analytical thinking. This is a visualization skill we lack, and that's a huge learning curve as well in architecture.
This is actually very interesting. I mean, 3D visualization skills. Guys, I mean, even while you solve those physics, chemistry, maths problems, don't you think you need a lot of visualization skills? I mean, we keep telling you guys, you need to have those and develop those visualization skills. You need to have those creative thinking, not just for engineering, but even any stream that you take. You always need to have that creative thinking ability. But for architecture, it's I think much more stretched than the engineering streams. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rama.
Absolutely, you are right. That brings me to, yeah, like you mentioned, this is absolutely essential. We'll address this when we're discussing the subjects.
All right. In fact, yeah, very true. Students want to know what kind of subjects are there. Guys, remember, never get fascinated by a branch by its outside looks. Everything looks good from the outside, or sometimes a branch might look very bad from the outside, but actually when you enter in, you get a complete different picture. So we should get the facts right, and that's why we have the actual people who have undergone through the process studying architecture, who have done post-graduation in architecture, who have very established firms in this particular domain. So in fact, one of the next question is, what are these subjects, and what kind of things can students expect in practicals, theory, etc. during their studies of architecture?
Okay, so the core subjects which you will be pursuing for 4 years are building materials, building construction and techniques, theory of structure, which is largely applied physics, graphics, or what you'd call engineering drawing. Also, you would have, and all these will feed into a core subject called architectural design. These are recurring subjects. Then you also have subjects like history, city planning, acoustics, electrical, plumbing and services, estimation, appropriate technology, so on and so forth, which don't span across climatology. They don't span across the 5-year syllabus.
The sense I get from what you're saying is, it involves a lot of subjects. It's not exactly what people think. It's not just coloring and drawing things, but it involves a lot of disciplines. And like you said aptly just before some time, that it's actually a multidisciplinary course. It's not very niche as such. You need to be literally a jack of all trades by at least by hearing all the subjects that you just mentioned. And do you agree with this?
Absolutely. There is actually the benefit of pursuing these subjects is there will be an osmosis when you are working on your design, and that is the core thrust of the syllabus and the program itself.
Okay. So, is B planning slightly different from architect?
Yes and no. I did a B.Arch degree. There are very few colleges which offer a bachelor's in planning. If I'm not wrong, IIT Kharagpur is one of those. So what planning deals with is a slightly larger scale, city planning, so you have to understand city planning principles. For instance, modern cities which have been designed in India since independence has been city of Chandigarh. It's a planned city by a very famous French architect called Le Corbusier. Bhubaneswar was designed by Otto Königsberger. So the scale that you're dealing with is very large in city planning, but in architecture you're dealing with building construction, tectonics of it.
Okay, cool. So guys, for all those of you who are planning up architecture, so keep this in mind. Architecture involves a lot of subjects, and you need to be a master of, or rather a jack of all the trades, like we have been mentioning before. The next thing that people would love to hear is what is the need of maths? What's the need of physics? What's the need of chemistry? Because I think now that we have talked about the courses, do you really think studying these subjects in 11th and 12th grade is really going to help us, or whatever knowledge we gain is just going to die out there in 12th standard? Is it absolutely essential? What is your take on that?
Let me put it this way. Actually, I'll start with the etymology of the word architect. It's from Greek in two parts, arch and tecton. Arch is chief and tect is the builder. So Leonardo da Vinci was an architect, and pretty much the only engineering activity that happened in the dawn of civilization is building activity. All the tools and machines were made for the purpose of building. That is why you also see now the word architect employed for architect of constitution, architect of data architect. So it's basically a chief engineer, and as it would be required of any building activity, whether you're building a building or a machine, you need to have a approach of applied sciences, not pure sciences, I would say, but applied sciences. For instance, if we take, we deal a lot with geometry, projections, vanishing point. Fun fact is, Rubik's Cube was invented by an architect professor called Rubik's, no prizes for guessing. And this is because he wanted to engage his students with understanding three-dimensional geometry, volumes, voids, intersection of planes, all of which we deal with in graphics or ED as well. So yes, that is the mathematics part of it. Coming to physics, you need to understand physics at a very conceptual level. I'll not go into the details, but then when you're looking at physics, it's to understand properties of material, what works in compression, tension, cantilever, and all of that. But on a lighter vein, I joke with one of my clients who's an aircraft designer. I tell him, there's only one difference between you and me. I have to design to obey gravity. You have to design to defy gravity. That's the physics of it.
Good one. So, guys, I mean, many of you keep asking us, sir, whatever we are studying, is it going to be useful? Sir, we are studying forces. Sir, we are studying this work power energy. We are studying solid mechanics. Sir, we are studying this integration. Sir, we are studying so much of geometry, algebra. Trust me, guys. It's useful in almost every branch of science or engineering that you take up. So architecture is no such exception. So if you guys are looking to run away from maths and you think that, okay, probably architecture is going to have less of maths, you guys are wrong. Architecture, in fact, also has a lot of maths. You need to design a lot of elements. You need trigonometry. In fact, you're going to need chemistry as well and physics as well, just like ma'am said. That's so true. In fact, now going ahead, because architecture encompasses a large amount of subjects, so is it true that you actually need 5 years? Is it justified? And do you think just studying for B.Arch it's enough? And do I need to actually do a post-graduation like M.Arch like you have did? What is your take on that?
Addressing the 5-year program, Shreyas, you've touched the nerve on it. It is so spread wide, it's so course intensive. In addition to that, in order to get your degree, you also have to do either 1 or 2 semesters of apprenticeship or internship, which is like a teething program to get into the real world of building. I found it absolutely useful. So that's what the 5-year program entails. In fact, some colleges, students are unable to finish the course in 5 years. Like in SEPT, they have you can do the course up to 7 years. And yeah, if I'm not wrong, there are some polytechnic programs in Spain as well where it's pursued for 7 years because you're integrating electrical aspects of the design as well. So it is a very course intensive program, no doubt about it. And the next part of it, which was your question about MR, personally, I found doing a master's program in architecture very useful because it helped me polish my raw core skills that I'd gained in undergraduation. And so, yeah, there are many MArch programs. Like if you do urban planning masters, you can become a city planner. It's now all the rage smart city programs, and the top-notch jobs for smart city program are architects, urban planners. Uh, uh, the city of Delhi is named often in news channels. We hear Lutyens Delhi. It's actually named after the architect, city planner Edwin Lutyens. So, yeah, and the several masters program which helps you diversify after your undergraduate program. You have in heritage conservation, then you can become a conservation architect. You have in sustainability and passive energy design, because 40% of carbon emissions is from construction industry. So this is a huge focus. Transportation planning. I know people who join various corporates to pursue these. I did a core master's in architecture in a field called theory and design.
Well, with your level of expertise, students are already demanding, ma'am, you start an architecture wala channel. That's interesting, and they're also impressed with your English. So, guys, I mean, being an architect is not an easy thing. I understand that, because engineers, they just have to study for 4 years, and you get into a IT firm and you start working, and you don't really need a master's degree unless and until you want to do some very specific work. But like ma'am said, first of all, the course is for 5 years. It's essential, and it's always beneficial that you do your master's, which is MArch, so that you develop that kind of expertise. And you can see by ma'am's profound knowledge why doing MArch was very, very essential. In fact, let's go to the next question coming up. And that's about, since we have spoken about what we did in college, do you really think what you do in college and what you actually do in the industry, are they related? Is there a disconnect? Because I've seen many engineering branches out there, there is a lot of disconnect with what happens in the industry and what happens in the actual college. What's your take on that?
Okay, this is a very interesting question. On the one hand, I would argue, yes, like you rightly pointed out, this divide exists in all professions between academics and practice. You have to learn life by literally doing life. You can't learn it in your college. You don't have syllabus for it. So there are aspects of professional practice you don't learn in college. But on the other hand, I would also argue there's been great continuity between what I learned in college and how I operate my firm. Our firm is run by two of us, both of us from NIT and SEP, Surabhi Shingare and me. And every time we start a design project, we still go back to our fundamentals. How do you deal with climatology? How do you counter heat gain? Aspects of surveying that we learn, building construction, fundamentals of structures. So there is a great continuity in my profession between college learning and you, of course, with experience, you learn to synthesize them more in your projects. And it's not as calculative, but more conceptual. But definitely there is continuity.
Actually, I'm surprised because, a lot of other engineers that I have spoken to, they always say that there is a discontinuity. So guys, architecture is something where it's more of a hands-on kind of a stream. You actually need to do a lot of things, and I think that extra 1 year that you spend in the college gives you that hands-on and that experience while you do your internship. And that's why probably ma'am is saying it is more like a continuity once you go into the industry or start your own firm. That's interesting. That's something new. In fact, now even people want to know what kind of paths you can take. Okay, fine, you get into the industry, what kind of options are available as a job, and what kind of salaries are offered, and what kind of firms can I look forward to? Is there scope in India, or do I need to go abroad? What do you think about this?
Okay, let me take the career paths first. We touched upon this earlier. You could become a urban planner. You could become a transportation planner. I have a friend who is a policy consultant for transportation planning in Bangalore. You see those Yulu bikes. How do you solve sustainable public transport? What are the bottlenecks in feedback loops? So those kind of things. So you can get involved at a policy level if you become a planner or urban designer. And invariably, these jobs are either government or large corporate jobs. So then your salary packages are, of course, pretty good. And then, like I mentioned, you can be part of smart city programs. Every politician basically who comes to power wants to do some building activity. This is something that has not changed in human civilization. They want to leave behind a building, a new city. You see the city of Amravati coming up when bifurcation of Andhra and Telangana happened. So you have a lot of planning jobs out there. Then I said you can get into a niche field of sustainability, energy. You could become a conservation architect. There's so many listed archaeological monuments in India. You could also get into project management. A lot of civil engineers, architects do post-graduation in project management and large infrastructure projects they manage. You can get into research. You can do PhD and get into research. It could be in history. It could be a contemporary architecture, all kinds of research opportunities. I did a core master's. It's called Theory and Design, which was basically a 2-year program where you are trying to explore critical thinking or research in design, applied design. As far as salaries are concerned, I would again say this is much like many of the courses. You have a very low end of the spectrum in the beginning of your career, where your packages could be as low as 6 lakhs. But then you do have options in any field that you can take up a corporate job and you'd get paid that much more. But one thing I'd like to clarify also is that it's not an utterly glamorous profession, in the sense you are dealing with under construction sites, you're out there in the scaffolding heat, working with many consultants. But it's hugely gratifying because you can conceptualize something and see it come up in front of your eyes. So that's the great joy in the profession.
So basically, can we expect salary ranges? Because what I heard is around 5 to 10 lakhs. Is that like the median average salary one can expect after becoming an architect? Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so guys, there you have it. You know that there are so many fields which you can enter into, so many specializations, and the salary is decent enough. But do not expect something like what a software engineer earns initially. But later on, when you grow in your field and you become an expert, I'm pretty sure you have your own name, you have your own firm, you start earning really well. So it's a long process, but at the end of the day, if you love that subject, if you love or you have passion towards architecture, that's when you should take it up. Or else, if you're just looking for money, then probably you should look for something else. Having said that, people often get confused between interior design, industrial design, and architect. So is there some similarity, and what are these different things? Like, can you compare them?
Yes, it's a very recent sort of a confusion, I would argue. So let me take up first interior decoration versus architecture. They are two very different fields. I often say this, it's like the difference between a beautician and a plastic surgeon. In architecture, you have to know, all the For instance, if you're building, you need to understand your site, the slope, you need to understand materials, basic structure, construction system, climate, latitude, light, context sensitivity, how you're building in that culture, in that context. So it's more experiential, performative, that is architecture. But interior decoration purely operates in the domain of a very visual field. So more often than not, people don't have a technical training. So they are very different. That said, many architects do some interior projects as well. Industrial design, I've seen many of them pursue, many mechanical engineers, architects pursue product design, industrial design. I mean, from Henry Ford to Steve Jobs, we've seen why it makes sense now to integrate, create delight in using a machine or a tool. So I think it's hugely useful to look at it as a postgraduate course if you are looking at industrial design, product design.
Okay, so what the sense I get out of this is basically, guys, industrial design is more towards ergonomics, more towards all the products that we see in day-to-day life, how to design those products. Architecture is more towards those buildings, bridges, and all of that. And then you have interior design. Interior design is more like a home science. It's like more like a vocational subject, which is not exactly engineering. Anybody can do that, even if you do not have an engineering degree. Am I correct, ma'am?
Yes, you're right. I think barring two, only one college offers a very rigorous and I would say a course with some scientific temperament and humanities, that is SEPT. It has a department, and over there they do interior design as crafts, technology, and energy. That is how they deal with it, but that's an exception. Otherwise, interior design is not the same. Interior decoration is not the same as architecture. You're right. Architecture is a 5-year program. You can't escape your subjects that we outlined earlier.
Okay, interesting. So, guys, please don't get confused now. And those of you who are asking, what about the percentiles required? Guys, those of you who are joining in late, at the start of the lecture, at the start of the session, I have clarified all of these facts. I have told you all the top-notch colleges, their cutoffs, their percentiles, etc. So in case you're joining in late, you can just watch the replay of the session after the session ends, all right? So let's just go ahead with the questions that we have for ma'am. And the last question that I have for you is, what do you think is doing a job better or starting your own firm as an architect a good decision? Is it a bold decision? And can you tell us something which you have learned from founding Samvad Design Studio?
Yes. See, till last generation, this was the most natural career progression, that you do your degree in BArch, if you wish, in MArch, and then work in a very good practice for a few years and set out on your own. It's much like being a doctor. You get hands-on experience and then you set up your own clinic, right? So that's how it used to be. But increasingly, you have the option of working with some exceptional firms, or you can start out on your own. I was always very clear that I wanted to have my own practice. I'm very fortunate that I was able to co-found my practice with a friend, Surabhi Shingare. So it has made it that much more joyful for me to run my practice. So I would definitely vote for starting a practice, because it's been a great learning curve and a great delight that you can pursue, experiment, and execute.
And in fact, the creativity is probably seen even in the wall. Some of the students were actually commenting on the wall. I was just reading their chats. They're praising the wall behind you so much. One of them was actually asking, why is the wall not painted? Is there a reason behind it? Do you have a reason? And can you explain more about the wall? I don't know if it makes sense.
Yes, actually, this wall, it's not just another brick in the wall. I used to train with a firm in Bangalore, my internship. It was a turning point in my life. It's called Biome Environmental Solutions. And they work extensively with with this technology. A bit of history. Great Wall of China is built with this. Many constructions in Yemen, across Egypt, India, built with this. These are called compressed stabilized earth blocks. If you're interested, they are engineered with soil from the site, and they are not burnt bricks. Why they are not painted is because it's less embodied energy to plaster and paint, so they are left exposed.
Wow, I hope guys that answers your questions out there. That's crazy. I mean, there is so much of science behind it. So we probably wouldn't even know, just looking at the wall, we're like, okay, it's just a bare wall. So guys, there's a lot of science. So you need to really work hard. You need to really have your basics really strong. So that's why we also keep saying repeatedly again and again, make sure that when you're studying in your 11th and 12th, make sure your foundations are strong. Make sure your basics are correct. Okay, you might not be able to solve the toughest of the problems, but your foundations, your concepts, your building blocks should be very correct. In fact, let's open the stage for all other questions as well. So guys, if you have anything for ma'am, if you want to ask anything, please let us know by putting it up in the chat box. Ma'am is going to answer as many questions as possible in the limited time that she has. So for drawing exam paper, what is the best book? Okay, a lot of students have this doubt. So for the aptitude test, which is what is the right way to actually practice for it? How do you practice those engineering drawing diagrams? Is there some guidelines or some tips that you can give all our students?
Okay, so when I've given my exam way back, so I'm quite ancient student in terms of cracking the exam. As far as the exam was concerned, it wasn't very difficult. Projections, vanishing points, parallel projections, and all that. So I think basics of engineering drawing and graphics should get you through. In the course, it will unfold how to work with. You have bird's eye view, worm's eye view. There are even colleges which have fish eye view. So it's very difficult, but for cracking your exam purpose, I don't recall having exceptionally difficult questions for graphics.
Okay, so guys, basically, it's not very difficult like the ones you have in engineering. It's up to the 12th standard level. So just follow what ma'am said. I'm pretty sure you will crack the drawing examination. So well, we Enthuse FC, ma'am is from Chennai, and she has done her graduation from NIT Nagpur and the post graduation from CEPT. Yep. And somebody was also asking, what's the difference between civil engineering and architecture? What's the difference? Are they related? Do they have to work together?
Yes, they are related. They are definitely related professions. What you get in architecture is a more human-centric approach towards building. So, for instance, if you're building, you're not just building in a certain latitude, in a climatic zone, you're also building in a certain culture. So, it is a very human-centric approach towards building. Civil engineering also has many overlapping courses with us. They have surveying. People go on to do geotechnical engineering. They also have structures, as do we. Then material sciences. So we do have a lot of overlapping courses with civil engineering, but we have a very important difference, which is the central course that we have is architectural design. That is, if you take a semester and you have 5 subjects, it should all culminate in the highest credit course, which is architectural design. So it's a semester long project. So if you're doing the project given for that semester is housing, you have to address building construction in housing, climatology in housing, socio-cultural aspects of housing, material and technology in housing. So that's a very important difference that we have, that ours is more studio-based synthesis in learning. They have a more exam-based learning.
And do we a lot of students are also asking how difficult is the entrance examination for architecture. Should we have some general knowledge about the buildings while you write the aptitude tests after the 12th standard, and these kind of questions. So what is your take on that?
Okay, so yes, a basic level of aptitude is required. If you cleared your PCM, you will be able to clear your aptitude as well. Honestly, I had to bank on my math score to get into architecture. So because it's not difficult, but it's a new aptitude is different. The aptitude-based learning is different once you get in.
And how does a person know that he is meant for architecture? Is there some checklist by which a person can know, okay, I can actually do architecture?
Okay, so I can only tell from my experience how I knew I wanted to be an architect. One is my father was in the electrical line, and he used to always say, oh, you know what? All the fields culminate in architecture because they are the guys calling the shots on all the sides. So you be an architect. But that apart, I became, when I was in 10th standard in CBSE boards, I got about 96% in maths, 97 in history. And I was constantly wondering what is the course which will dovetail my interest in basic sciences and history, geography, and all of that. So I did find, rightly so, architecture to be the perfect fit for me. I'm glad I made that choice.
So guys, I mean, ma'am has not just scored amazing percentages back in 10th, but because she's a gold medalist, she has in fact got 10 out of 10 pointer in her graduation. That's like crazy, guys. Okay, so you really need to be passionate. You should have that mental state for creative thinking, design, and visualization. So that's how I think you will get to know about it. And well, the best colleges, we have already spoken about it at the start of the class. You can just rewind the session and you can watch it. And which one is better, getting into a IIT or getting into CEPT? Because you are from CEPT, probably you will be able to tell this more in detail. What do you think? Is anything okay?
Yes, so I would vote for CEPT because CEPT is deep. The expansion of CEPT is Center for Environmental Planning and Technology. That itself tells you that thrust. It's regarded as one of the best colleges in Asia. It has a deeply entrenched model of how to integrate technology, human-centric planning. It's quite amazing. So the environment in CEPT is definitely very good. I'd vote number one for CEPT. IIT Kharagpur is also exceptional because it has a pedigree of running this course. I think since 1950s, it's one of the oldest and most rigorous colleges among the IITs and NITs. But I'd still vote for CEPT.
Okay, so there you have the answer, Bhavna. And Science Priya also has asked one more question. She wants to speed her sketching and drawing skills. Like she's telling that during the exams, and I'm pretty sure many of the students out there who are preparing for the exams, they have this problem. How do we exactly speed our drawing skills? How do we paint really fast? Any tips for that?
Practice. There's no shortcut.
That's a one-word answer. Just practice, nothing else. Okay, cool. So Science Priya, it's just about practice, man, nothing else. I mean, you just need to practice a lot. Yeah.
I'd say practice intelligently and in a disciplined manner. That's all.
Okay, cool. So it's just practice. Fine. So Science Priya, please use your time for, whenever you are bored studying physics, chemistry, maths, please take out your sketchbook and start drawing, start painting, and probably you can time it and see how you improve day by day. Probably that's something what you can do. All right. So that's it from our side, and I think we have taken up quite a few questions out here. And if you still have some questions, you can definitely put it up in the comment section. We will definitely end up replying to all of your comments out there. And any closing statements by you, ma'am, for all the students out here?
70% of our life we spend in built environments. So I feel very grateful to be part of a profession which is creating built environments. And even when we travel, we understand civilization, history through architecture, monuments. What are the things we do when we travel? We go, take selfies against monuments, architecture, city planning, settlements. So, being an architect allows you to continuously contribute and learn from a history of a certain time and place. And I think that's wonderful about the profession.
Okay, so guys, all those aspiring architects, just wherever you go travel, wherever you go, just appreciate the beauty, appreciate those monuments. Try to sketch it whenever you have free time. I'm pretty sure you will develop interest towards it, and you will get a hang of it, and you will know if you are meant for that branch. Don't worry. All right. So having said that, one last thing. Remember, the pro subscription courses are available at 10% off using my coupon code SHHPRO. The link is there in the description box. The batches are starting on Monday. This is for the 11th standard. The courses start for a very low price, as low as 3,600 rupees per month. And if you want some additional things, obviously you can opt for the higher packages as well. Similarly, the 12th standard batches in pro subscription are also starting. And remember, the later you join, the batches will also end up later. And again, there is 10% off running using my coupon code SHHPRO. Remember, I'm also taking a lot of micro courses out there. And a very special announcement for all the crash course aspirants. Remember, the crash course price is not 10,000 now. It's for 5,500. It's not the usual 40% discount. It's 45% discount. Again, the link for the same is there in the description box below. All right. So thank you very much, ma'am, for being here. And students have pretty sure have loved all your inputs and all, and they appreciate your knowledge a lot. And guys, if you have liked this information, to show your support for ma'am, to just as a gesture for for thanking ma'am for being here, do not forget to smash that like button and hit the subscribe button. So you can just say bye to all the kids out here, and we'll be meeting again next week, guys.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Take care, guys. Signing off. This is Shreyas here, and I was going live. Hasta la vista. See you guys on Monday, 7:30.